All right, and we back with another episode of Hey, I'm Just Asking. And today we want to talk about another Alpo story for the love of Coochie. Now, when it comes to the underworld, women have been a thorn in the side slash bearers of bad news and controversy for some of the most notorious gangsters in the game. Al Capone contracted syphilis from a prostitute and lived his last days helpless and dazed, unaware of his past life as a crime boss. Call it karma for the many women he put to work as prostitutes. John Dillinger was killed by police due to his friendship with a prostitute, Anna Capanes. She betrayed Dillinger due to threats by the FBI to deportate her back to her country. So she spotted Dillinger for the feds at a theater. They did the rest. Dillinger was killed, and she still got deported. How many hood stories have we heard about women setting men up to be robbed, killed, or put in jail because of the woman's infidelity and greed? Coochie is power. It can make the strongest man weak, the smartest man do dumb shit, and a violent man be violent. It's on sight. Let's talk about Nicky Barnes, though, the last godfather of Harlem. Man, the Coochie made him cooperate with the government. Nicky Barnes took down his whole council organization. He's in jail, but bet not nobody touch his Coochie. Barnes went against the code to stand on his rules for the love of Coochie. The Alpo Martinez story is different though. Young, flashy, and fly. Poe had grown man money, cars, clothes, bikes, you name it. The average street hustler couldn't compete. Man, Alpo set the trends. A New York superstar, the slick talker, a gangster that actually smiles. If you didn't know him, you probably would have never viewed him as a killer. The ladies' man. If you say Poe ain't had a women, you lying. He's the life of the party. Show out to show off. It's for the love of Coochie. Welcome to DC. In the late 80s, we had the finest women in the country. Some thoroughbreds, the pretty faces with the super asses. Man, must have been something in the water or something because they was everywhere. Most DC women have street knowledge, directly or indirectly. And Alpo definitely took advantage of that. He learned the lay of the land, finding out who's who, where to set up shop, who needs what, and is it cool to make moves with them. Whoever introduced Poe to Shorty Pop gave him the power he needed in the city. Shorty Pop suggested to Alpo to get Wayne Perry out of jail. This investment was big because he later shaved off some prison time and escaped the death penalty on the back end. With Wayne Perry on his side, Alpo became a major player in the drug trade. DC is now his playground. With money and power comes women, at least one a day on a bad day for Alpo. The womanizer. Instead of slam, bam, and scram like most players do, Alpo held on to a few of his women like trophies, and he respected them enough to protect them. Fuck with one of his, you die, and you won't see it coming because Alpo snake game was on 10. In every situation, Poe always seemed to keep the upper hand. So let's talk about Demencio. Now, Demencio has to be put in a category by itself when we talk New York hustlers with DC history. He earned his respect like every other New Yorker who did business with DC. But here's the difference though. He's Montana, but his reach stretches to Southeast. MLK. DC didn't deal with Southeast, but he did. So that's love. If you went to Baluch Senior High School around 89, 90, then you knew what it was. To have respect is one thing, but when they love you, then it becomes family. Anybody can be touched, don't get it twisted. The worst can happen. Hey, it's a gamble every day you do it. The game dirty, yet he played fair. Get to the bag, baby. Do the numbers. And the city was rocking with him. Man, that says a lot for him as an outsider. To get a city pass, like that shows he was a rare breed. And I say that to say this. Demencio was good in DC. When you do good business, your street credit limit goes up. It's sort of like an underworld insurance policy. Keep it 100, keep it professional, and keep it quiet. It's under the radar life. That's the Hustler's Manual Success Kit. Where's Brooklyn at? He's flashy and fly too. The ghetto El DeBarge. Hey, that's what the women were saying about him back then. But it's alleged that he disrespected Alpo's woman. Slapped her. He's got a go-go. It's petty gang. Poe playing chess, not checkers. Let's squash the beef at a basketball game in Southwest. And this got me scratching my head like, what was Demencio thinking? This is Wayne Perry's neck of the woods. So what made him feel safe? Some say he was backdoored. Man, I can't stamp that or disagree. All we know is that they shook hands, then Demencio got shot for the love of Coochie. This murder put the city on notice. Alpo and his crew meant business. He's a kingpin with his sights set on being the king of. Did the city take him serious? I'll say yes and no. I'll also tell you why. To be the king of DC, hey, that's pressure. It's been a few, but I'll just name two. Rayful Edmonds and Michael Frey Salters. Now, Rayful Edmonds, that's self-explanatory. Ray had that Fortune 500 drug trade IQ. Did the wolves test him? Man, this DC. It's Devil's Court. We trifling here. You king, but so what? You gotta stand on that. It wasn't sweet for Rayful Edmonds. Because a war can start at the go-go. You outside, yet you gambling in the murder capital? Ain't nobody safe in the city. Cause it can go left at the right time. Quick. Ray had a murder squad though. Some shoot-first killers that played for keeps. But Ray was all about business. And killing is bad for business. That makes the feds come knocking. To be the king of DC, you're going to need three things. The smarts, the muscles, and some allies. This is where Michael Frey steps in. Michael Frey Salters, the original big homie. Nobody played with Frey. Not even Rayful. He was real respected in the city. So when he was murdered, it was a shock to many. Some suspected that it was foul play. They caught Frey slipping? Not the king of DC. Something ain't right, and it wasn't. He was backdoored by one of his own crew members, a paid hit set up by Alpo and Wayne Perry. Why? Ow. They took out the strongest representation of DC that day. Michael Frey was one of the last kings that would do his own dirt, the frontline boss. Michael Frey was battle tested. He started the war when he robbed Poe for 10 bricks. Frey didn't finish the job, but Alpo did. So the saga continues. Let's talk Andre Tank Johnson and the entanglement. For the love of Coochie. Alpo and Dre did business from time to time, but Poe couldn't keep up with Tank's work ethic. Not enough weight. So don't let them rewrite history about Alpo's chokehold on DC. Tank was moving them, doing his numbers. A new plug makes a young boss, and Tank did that. Hey, Alpo's just a side bet now. In case of emergency purposes, break glass. For the love of Coochie, the plot thickens with another Alpo affiliate, Big Head Gary. Now, Gary had problems with Tank over the Coochie. So he stepped to him like, hey man, that's me. Leave that alone. So Tank agreed. They shook on it. Beef over. Move on. Everything's cool, right? But Dre doubled back for one more tap. Coochie is power. And women got that wet booby trap. After that, man, Tank hit Alpo like, let's do business. He wanted to cash out on that side bet, right? A drug deal gone bad. Hey, that's how Alpo tells it. Gary gets revenge and Alpo wins. He keeps his drugs. He got Dre's money. Plus he's fucking Tank's girl the whole time. Wow. When you talk about the snake game, man, Alpo was on it. Alpo later had to kill Big Head Gary for calling his woman a bitch in public amongst outsiders. And it's also alleged that Gary put a hit out on Poe to rob him anyway. Wow, man. Have times changed? Man, I don't think so. But don't shoot me. This is another Alpo story. For the love of Coochie.